Hey, this is Mr. and Mrs. Higgins. They are BJ's mother and father, and I'm going to interview them on BJ and how his life was. Okay, for the first question, how did BJ's life change whenever he became a Christian?
When BJ gave his heart to the Lord at 8 years old, there was a pretty radical transformation that took place. He started to share Jesus with everyone who would listen. He did it on the playground. He did it through papers or speeches that he gave at school. He did it on the ball field with coaches or opposing team players or his own team coaches and players. So everywhere that he went in his life from the age of 8 years old on, he was cognizant of the fact that the call on his life as a believer was to tell people about Jesus, and he made that his life's work.
That's cool. And what was his childhood like? How was he when he was a kid?
Go ahead.
He had ADD, so he was on medicine as he was very active, and but he was very talkative. He was very outgoing. He was not afraid. He didn't meet a stranger. But our house was a loving one, and we were regular churchgoers and involved in mission trips from we worked with the youth group.
He enjoyed athletics. He wasn't a very good athlete, but he got involved in athletics because he saw it as a platform to minister from. So his heart was about ministry.
And what was the story on how he died?
He'd been to Peru once, the summer in 2004, and spent a summer there living, serving, and ministering in the country of Peru. Returned from that with a desire to, the following year, go to a different country in Asia, but the Lord wouldn't open the door for that, and when he finally surrendered his heart to what the Lord wanted, he told him, "Okay, God, if you don't want me to go to Asia, I won't go to Asia, and if that means I have to stay home, I'll stay home, and I'll do whatever you want me to do." And the Lord moved in his heart at that point and directed him back to the country of Peru. And if BJ had been disobedient to God's call, he would likely still be here with us. But because he was obedient, when he returned to the country of Peru, he would contract an infectious disease that he would come home with. And ultimately, around 8 weeks after arriving back in the country, he would go home to be with the Lord. He spent 6 weeks in the hospital fighting what doctors believe was bubonic plague, but were never able to prove conclusively. And we as his family have come to understand that this was not about a disease that claimed a young man's life, but it was about a testimony that God was raising up because of his desire to show his greater glory through the life of a sold-out young man. And BJ knew that that was God's desire for each of us that are believers.
Cool. And what did you guys learn from BJ's life?
How to daily lay down our rights to ourselves, to die daily. The scripture teaches us to die daily, and BJ walked that out, and he showed his friends, and they often spoke to us in the months after BJ passed away, that they had given him an incredible example of what it meant to truly lay down your life, and not so much in his death, which also did it, but he did it in his life, because he was always looking for opportunities to share Christ, and that is what we're truly called to do, and yet there are very few adults that do that, let alone youth. And the people who watched BJ, the people who looked at his life, understood what it truly meant to be a believer by watching his life.
And I just think going through all of this has shown us how much of a difference one person can make. I mean, we've seen it. Even him, and we know him as having his faults and everything else, was annoying at times, was a challenge at times, but yet he was able to make a difference at his young age, and the people around him, and then beyond that too. So it's been cool to see that. I mean, it was hard to lose a son, but at the same time, to see how God has worked through it kind of is very much a comfort and very much an encouragement.
Thank you guys for letting us interview, and this is yet again Mr. and Mrs. Higgins, and that is all.